What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So looking forward into this upcoming week, you don't really have that much in data points. You have a lot of Fed speakers, so that in among itself could cause some volatility, as I'm sure a lot of them are going to be scrutinizing the tariffs and what impact that will be to kind of the labor market. So I think that could cause some volatility. But aside from that, though, it is going to be more of a reflection week. So the market's going to be digesting what has really happened over the last couple of weeks as far as data points, tariff deals, everything. So again, I think it's going to be more of a reflection. Plus, technicals are going to play a very big part in this week. So I'm going to go over that near the end of the video. But fear and greed index is under the greed category, meaning people's appetite for risk is on the table for this upcoming week. So that's kind of a positive thing. Specific to Lucid, though, they are going to be still in Atlanta, Georgia in a pop-up. They are going to be at the Tour Geneva Open. So I think that is a very good catalyst, as I mentioned in my video on Friday, and maybe they might even put out a PR possibly about, let's say, I don't know, the brand ambassador maybe. So we'll have to wait and see. But King of Prussia, also another pop-up for this upcoming week. So that's between May the 23rd and June the 15th. But aside from this, there isn't any fireside chats, nothing along those lines that is planned. So unless they have something unexpected for, let's say, investors in the broader market, then it's just kind of this for the most part. One thing that a lot of people seem to be very much freaking out over the weekend is this. So Friday after hours, Moody's downgraded the US due to ever rising debt, high interest payment ratios. So at the end of the day, this is something to be aware of. And if you hold fixed income, then that unfortunately is going to get hit quite significantly on Monday. But as far as if this is going to cause a significant pullback in the broader market, I don't see that being the case. Last time that this did happen was August the 1st, 2023, which during that time frame caused the S&P to go down 0.29%. So nothing overly crazy whatsoever. So as far as we're going to have Black Monday or something along those lines, I don't see that being the case. I feel like a similar type of scenario to August the 1st is going to play out. Of course, a lot more kind of speculative stocks will get hit more than that, but that's just kind of the nature of the game at the end of the day. But so let me know your viewpoint on that. Are you going to be selling because of this news? Are you buying the dip? Like, what's your kind of general thoughts on that? Moving over to shorts. So going into this upcoming week, 28.36% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 349.72 million shares overall are being shorted. So shorts have been returning a little bit over the last week. They did return 73,000 shares on Friday. Cost to borrow average is 1.6. Minimum is negative. So again, how I interpret that is that there is brokers out there physically paying people to short Lucid. So definitely some manipulation is happening behind the scenes, but I think overall I don't really see shorts being that active. They'll probably just kind of increase or decrease 200,000 shares back and forth this whole week because yeah, Lucid's technicals I think are kind of on the fence for a breakout, so I'll go over that in a second. But aside from that, there isn't really any data points to justify for them to increase like 10 million, 20 million or whatever else. When it comes to Lucid, so they did close at 284, so that means the 250 and below strike prices are essentially in the money. So you have 29,000 at that 250 and then small change below that. So that does mean 2.9 million shares do need to be covered by market makers this upcoming week. So you might see a nice little bump up in the price as market makers do cover that. But looking forward into this upcoming week, you do have 3,000 at that 250 and then 20,000 at that 3. So if Lucid does get close to that $3 mark for come Friday, you might see shorts wake up a little bit just to kind of artificially suppress it below that $3 strike price. Even though, as I mentioned on Friday, that Elliott Wave Technicals is projecting for it to get to roughly that $3 range or slightly above it, you'll see shorts kind of wake up at that stage. But with that at 284, trading between this R3 and this R2. So 278 is going to be a strong support. So just watch for that, especially if the market does pull back slightly because of this downgrade. But I feel like that will be just more of a temporary blip. But 301 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. And like I said, Elliott Wave Technical is projecting the exact same thing for it to kind of get to that range. So $3 might be that battleground for this upcoming week. Aside from all of that stuff though, on the actual chart, it did close above that 200-day moving average. So that is sitting at $2.80. You also have that 100 at the $2.63. So most likely that will be another level of support for Lucid. So it does have a lot of good support below it. So essentially this upcoming week, which like I said, is going to be a reflection week and more technical driven, Lucid's actually in a good position, in my opinion, assuming it can actually stay above this 200-day moving average. Only negative is the fact that it is overbought, but every stock is overbought. So meaning the first sign of weakness specific to Lucid or the broader market, you could see some volatility associated to that. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. One thing as well that could really help Lucid as far as move up higher is articles. So algorithmic trading will be picking up on all of that, and articles about Lucid, whether it be Gravity or even latest 13Fs, then that could really stand to benefit. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Where do you see things going for this upcoming week? In my opinion, I do feel that it will get very close to that $3 range. And then dependent on if there is a tariff deal, then we could close above that. But essentially, I do feel that we're still going to be closing between this R3 and this R2. And for those of you that kind of watch my weekly summarization video such as this, I did mention last week that we will be closing between this R3 and this R2. So that's exactly how it kind of played out. So this upcoming week, I feel like we're just going to be somewhat in this area right here, unless something positive does happen, such as a tariff deal, then we'll close above that. So it is, Lucid's kind of getting close to the nice breakout territory. It just needs now a nice little push, and that most likely will come from broader market, because I don't think that there's any real big catalyst associated to Lucid specific that is going to be coming out this week. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Hopefully everyone's having a good weekend. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon and give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. So definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.